Kids, listen to your mother.
Mom!
Welcome to Between Us Moms with Katie Crafts-Morg and Hallie Stevens-Drake.
You guys are in for a treat because our girl, Sarah Hoover, is back, baby. And if you loved our first conversation, just wait because there is so much more to talk about. But if you missed that first chat, allow me the pleasure of introducing you to Sarah, the author of the wildly popular book, The Motherload, which struck a chord with moms everywhere for its sharp humor, refreshing honesty, and finally, someone said it moments about modern motherhood. The paperback edition of The Motherload hit shelves yesterday. So if you haven't grabbed a copy yet, this is your sign, people. But that's not all. The Motherload is officially being turned into a TV series. This mama of two is crushing it, and we're so excited to have her here again. Sarah Hoover, welcome back to the podcast.
Woohoo!
Woo!
Woohoo!
Happy to have you.
The paperback of The Motherload is out, like Hallie said, and I feel like you've been on this journey. And I'm curious, have women interpreted any part of this book in a way that has surprised you? And in seeing the feedback, what do you still think moms might be afraid to say out loud?
Since we were last together, I went on this tour that was a lot longer than I anticipated because I didn't know what it meant to like write a book and put it out in the world. I didn't know that every like talk that I did sort of beget another talk. And I got to meet like hundreds and hundreds of women all across America and in the UK. And I was surprised by so much of what they said because I knew when I wrote the book, like I had a feeling and an instinct deep down that while I felt incredibly lonely in my experience, I was like, I can't be alone. Like there have to be so many other women out there who feel some semblance of what I do. And that really bolstered me when I was writing it, when in like the moments when I felt nervous about what I was saying. I was like, this has to be true for other women. And I have to imagine that it will be a salve for them to read an experience that is in some way related to what they've been through. But what I didn't realize was en masse how much women need like an outlet for what they go through to become moms and to be parents, and how like they feel really unheard in our culture. And I think really disappointed and let down by how our culture respects or doesn't respect mothers. And I was just like blown away by how frustrated and disappointed and sad women are because they're like shouldering this massive burden.
Yeah.
They're doing everything and more. And I think that en masse, they just like don't feel really respected by the way our culture treats moms.
Do you think that that's in the workplace, in an everyday life, at a restaurant?
Literally everywhere. I think that the day-to-day existence of being a mom is just tough. Like, I think most men don't have the capacity to understand how much we do and how complicated it is. The logistics, the emotional side of it, like it's just so much. So I think in any scenario where you're interfacing with like men who don't truly understand the heavy lift of motherhood, you're going to be in a situation where like you don't feel acknowledged, and so that sometimes is at work, of course, but also it's like, yeah, when you're walking down the sidewalk with your stroller and like the guy doesn't move out of the way, but it just is really wears on you, and I think I was just getting a lot of feedback from women about how sort of exhausted they are by it all.
My God, I almost yelled at a man for not holding the door for me the other day.
You should have
He saw
yelled.
me with my double wide stroller. He sees that I'm struggling, and he just like kind of looked at me like, "Good luck, lady." And I wanted to be like, "Who raised you?
Literally.
Who raised you?"
Yeah,
Wolves.
it's shocking. And it's like it's at every level,
Yeah.
And also it permeates to other women who aren't yet moms as well, because like there just aren't enough narratives out there about motherhood. I think that everyone can be on the same page, and it's like it's almost like not men's fault, like
Yeah.
I almost have some sort of like empathy for men who don't really understand the complexity of being a woman and being a mom, because like no one told them the way no one told us.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
that's
so true. So true.
Which
If
is why it's so important that we like have this podcast and all the other podcasts and stuff and just keep saying these stories out loud and sort of normalize them because like we can't really expect men to step up to the plate, I think the way women need them to, if we're not even telling those stories ourselves, right?
couldn't agree more. And it was so brave. I feel like that probably sounds like silly, but I remember when I was reading your book and I was in a book club, I read it and I was like, God, you said everything. You literally said the things that so many women feel and just do not have the courage to say out loud because it's an ugly, or, quote, ugly side of us, but it's so real and so universal. And, you must have felt really validated and proud of yourself. I don't know, going on that tour and knowing that you were just saying it out loud.
I feel it's hard to say I feel proud of myself because I feel like, well, first of all, I get like rejected from shit all day, every day. So a lot of the time I just feel like a loser. But I do feel
Also, welcome to being a mom and
Yeah.
a woman.
Yeah.
100%. And I'm just like got to the point where I let it roll off my back and I'm just like, I gotta just keep going. Like I don't let my feelings get hurt anymore. But pride doesn't like come into it that much for me, if I'm being honest.
Interesting.
But I do feel a huge sense of like connection to other women. And I have been really bowled over by how universal the experience is. How, like the things that I thought made me the biggest freak in the world that I was like, I'm just gonna say it, but I don't know, I'm gonna meet like three other women who agree with me in the entire world. And like turns out it's all of us. Like we all have the same intrusive thoughts. The things that you felt so crazy for thinking in those first weeks or whatever, I've met thousands of women who think those things, and it's like, it's nuts how much more there is connecting us than there is keeping us apart. That's been a great lesson of it. And
Oh,
also, the other great lesson has been how important it is to like really own your truth because I have met women in their 70s on book tour who are like, I never knew I had postpartum depression until I read your book, and I think I still have it from when I had my kids 35 years ago, and I've never been able to really connect with my kids because of it or feel like a good mom. And I'm like, no one deserves to live 35 or 40 years of your life not in touch with your truth and not able to make your life what you want it to be because you're not in touch with your truth. Like we all deserve on a human level more than that.
yeah. You named it and then they saw it. They saw it in
Right.
themselves. Oh, how moving that must have been. I wonder if someone's picking up the paperback copy and they're reading it for the first time, what do you want them to walk away feeling?
Okay, well, first of all, thank you if you pick up the paperback. Paperbacks are so much lighter and easier to carry around than a hardback. So,
Love.
like, buy one for yourself and your bestie or your mom for Mother's Day,
Yes.
please. I love a paperback, but best at the beach. But I really want them to walk away with the knowledge that like inside every single woman, like I am not special. I am not a genius. I don't know if I'm a good writer or not. I don't really care about that. I didn't get an MFA. Like I'm not fancy. All I did was think to myself, how do I really feel about this? I'm going to be honest about how I really feel. That is very hard to do as a woman, or at least it has been for me in the past, because I've been so trained in my culture. I grew up in the Midwest to be polite and to be, in a way, subservient. And I don't mean that like to serve a man, but I mean to put my feelings aside to make everyone else comfortable. And I'm so good at that. But when I decided to write this book, I said to myself, you owe it to yourself to just determine how you actually really feel about all these aspects of womanhood and motherhood and to put that down on paper. And I think that's what has really connected to people. Because the response I get a lot is, oh my God, this was so honest. Like, thank you for your honesty. And everybody has that ability. Everyone has that within them. But determining where your intuition is pointing you and how you really feel about something is the skill in itself. And I think that women really should practice that all day, every day, and get really good at it because it is how you find your happiest way of being in life. You have to be in touch with what your gut tells you and what you really want. And I want every woman to know that that is possible for them and that that's a reality that could be theirs immediately, and that it's just a matter of developing that habit and that practice of listening to your gut and knowing what you really want.
That mom gut. It's
Yeah.
everything.
You
It's
got to
that
develop it though,
intuition.
because
Yeah,
it's like trained out of you, you know?
I know
Totally.
it. I
It's like,
know, because we're so worried about like being liked or pleasing others or whatever it is. Hallie mentioned, and we're so excited for you that your book is being turned into a TV show. I feel like we are seeing more and more women want to take on roles that show the hardships of postpartum. I'm thinking like Amy Adams in Night Bitch. I don't know if you saw
Yeah,
it. Rose Byrne in If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, nominated for an Oscar for that.
I know.
Jennifer Lawrence in Die My Love. Why do you think that is? Do you think we're just now able to tell more of these types of stories, or do you think there really is a push from people with like these massive platforms, including yourself, to really like get this messaging out there?
I mean, I feel like it's like a really specific moment in time, because and I feel so lucky to be a part of it because I think even 5 years earlier, I don't think that my message would have necessarily resonated in the same way. I mean, there's a couple factors at work, but I do think that one of the things that has benefited every example you just named is that women are in more positions of power. Like Amy Adams, I believe, also produced Night Bitch.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And so like women hold the purse strings now, and they've been able to like infiltrate the upper echelons of Hollywood. And I think like what you both have probably experienced with your podcast is that by using like social media and the internet and Instagram, you've been able to harness like your own voices in a really organic way and develop your own audience that way. And that wouldn't have been a possibility, a decade ago or whenever Instagram started. Like one of the wonderful things about that social media as a medium is the way it's democratized people's access to an engaged audience. But at the Hollywood level, I just feel like those movies are being made because women are in the position to make them happen, to like devote budget to them at big streamers or to produce them themselves. And like that's fairly new. Being at the top in those industries that are historically so male dominated is really new. And I feel like even just to sell my book, like I sold my book to a female editor who works at an imprint of Simon and Schuster that's run by a woman. But would it have happened 10 years ago at a
Mm.
publishing house run by a man? Like, probably not.
Yeah.
In every industry, I'm over and over again like, why aren't they like, okay, even in like science, how there's like no research done on women. And it's like, you guys, you're like missing this huge opportunity to make money off of us. Like, why isn't there more content specifically targeted to moms and parents? We're craving it. We want it. We'll give you our money,
Yeah.
especially if you make it funny. So like, let's go,
Yeah.
And
And
that's
look
why
at,
I was like,
yes.
I didn't write my book because I wanted to make a TV show. I didn't ever think that that would happen. But now that I'm in it, I'm like, this is happening. Like,
Okay.
nothing is gonna get in my way.
When we talked to you
yeah.
last year, I had just read it in my book club, and we literally sat around the group of women. We started casting. We were like, who would we cast as who?
So fun.
So fun. You have to tell us an update. What's the current status on the TV show?
Okay,
Are we
well,
writing or what?
yeah, here's what I've also learned about TV shows. It's like the slowest process ever. I mean, it's
Fun.
torture.
Yeah.
When you write your own book, it's like kind of just up to you. Like you
Mhm.
can sit in a room and like pound it out if you're good at that. And okay, TV's not like that. There's like so many different people who have to approve the outline and then the script and the blah blah blah. So I guess if everything goes like very to plan, my show would shoot in 2027 at the beginning, like a year from now. So
Okay.
so it's slow, and I'm not at the point of casting anything, and like I just keep my fingers crossed that I'll even get there, though it will not fail because of me. But shows get pulled and canceled and whatever left and right all the time, so we have to will this into being. But yeah,
We're
I'm
doing
gonna
it.
do it.
Yeah,
Stand
this is
ahead.
happening.
We need this show.
I
Yeah.
think so too.
We
need
just
it.
were saying it.
Yeah.
We want this show. Tell me who to call. Honestly.
I'll let them know.
Yes.
But I think you know what? It's so funny. I've been watching a love story, the Carolyn Bessette,
Oh, us too.
and I'm like so in love with Sarah Pigeon.
I'm so glad you said it, because if you didn't, I was going to.
Oh,
That's
and she's so beautiful. I'm like, and she's so
yes.
not generic and cheesy looking. Like she's not some cookie cutter version of beauty. I really like her. And I had actually seen her. She was in a Broadway show, a musical, and I had seen her in it, but I didn't actually remember that it was her because she was so brunette in it. And she is just such a like multi-hyphenate. She has this beautiful voice, and she went to Interlochen, which like if you're a Midwesterner like me, it's
Yeah.
such a legendary performing arts school. And she's like a real talent. And I would love to work with someone like that who I just really believe in their creative abilities. And it's not just like a decision made because they have tons of Instagram followers and can promote it and blah 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 blah. Like I'm not interested in that kind of like corporate decision making. She just seems like a real one. So I really like her.
Oh,
Very, very talented. She's not a mom though,
No,
right?
she's not a mom. She's I mean, she's younger than me. She's at the end of her 20s, I think, and she's not a mom yet. But and I mean they're actresses, right? So like presumably they don't have to have experienced it firsthand to be
mhm.
able to embody a
Totally.
character. But
Yeah.
it would also be cool to work with someone who had like firsthand experience with motherhood, who really felt like it was a passion project for them.
Well,
Yeah.
last time we talked, we pitched Amanda Seyfried to you
Okay, well, I love that because she's so beautiful.
and a mom.
And a mom. Did you all see the Mona Fastfeld movie that she's in about the Shakers?
I haven't.
It's on our list, but not
Okay.
yet.
It's so cool and it's so like it's choreographed. I mean, it's so strange. It would be like so nothing like the Motherload, but another supreme talent. And she seems naturally blonde, so I'm just really impressed by that. As someone who
Yeah.
constantly covering grays, I'm just like, wow,
Ditto.
girl, how nice for you.
How does it feel to be God's favorite?
Yeah,
Right.
right? Literally.
Oh my, have since the news came out about the show, have there been anyone like, has anyone slid into the DMs and been like, I want to play this part, or I want a role, or I can help you tell this story? Are you allowed to say that?
Yeah, a little bit. I have had people who are like really connect with it, who are celebrities who have said that they're interested. I feel like I shouldn't name them or anything, but I've been really surprised at the reach of the book because I and it's interesting who's reached out because it's people with young children. And I'm like, even at this level where presumably this type of person would have like so much access to help and therapy and whatever, it doesn't matter your circumstances. This is what I mean by the experience of new motherhood being in a certain way very universal. Like women are suffering because they have this deeply embedded cultural shame where they're not used to saying that something's hard or sad or asking for help or that they don't feel right in it. And it happens to people at sort of every rung of the ladder. And that's been so, it's just blown my mind,
Mm,
that, and you have to say to yourself, like, okay, well, if it's this hard for so and so famous person on Instagram who DM me, then think how much harder it is for everybody else.
right.
Right.
And like, there's such a lesson in that. Like, nobody escapes the difficulty of being a woman.
So
It's a
true.
Yeah.
universal experience. And you're right. I think sometimes we don't feel like we deserve the help, or we don't feel like we deserve to complain about something.
But that's
Um,
why we have to like put aside small differences, like put aside you live somewhere different, your politics are a little bit different, blah, blah, blah. Like that's not what matters. What
yeah.
matters is that we're going through like these big, this is like life stuff is
Mhm.
kids and how it impacts you as a woman. I mean, children are, I have come to realize how important it is to be a good mom, not just for yourself, but like good moms create highly functioning, empathetic, kind adults.
Mhm.
And our world like needs that. It's
Yes.
bad out there. Our
Yeah.
world really needs
Scary.
that. We're doing
It's
like an extremely important job because we're trying to make a world where there aren't leaders who go around making horrible decisions that impact people terribly, right? So
Mhm.
like it is essential that we do this job healthy and happy and inspired.
mm,
And I think that's why it's just like so important to do podcasts and make TV shows and whatever about this content because it's literally life-changing for a lot
Yeah.
of people.
totally. And hopefully our leaders will hear these conversations and like make better choices for our future children.
Wouldn't that be great?
Oh
One
my
would
God.
think. You, you're raising a little boy, a little girl. When you put your head down at the end of the night, what makes you feel like you're winning as a mom or you are a good mom, like you said? What does
Um,
that look like to you?
yeah, I have to like ignore the idea of good mom, bad mom because I think it's like it's almost useless
Yeah.
because we're all just like really honestly trying the best we can.
Yeah.
But I think that when I feel like I'm the best mom I can be is when I am not afraid to ask for help or like outsource help. Like I think an old version of me would have really failed to admit when like something wasn't working with one of my kids. And now I'm like, okay, I need like a special therapist who just gives me kid advice. I need like all the help books. I need, like I am no longer afraid to ask for that assist
Mhm.
because I don't have all the answers. And while I think our instincts as mothers are irreplaceable by anything else, a lot of the times, especially with like behavioral issues with kids, my gut and how to handle it is like dead wrong. I'm
Yeah.
always surprised that I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna like talk to him about that. He was bad on the playground or whatever. I'm just gonna talk to him about this and I'll reason with him. And like, end up calling my therapist to talk it through. And she's like, yeah, that's never gonna happen. Like, he's 7. You're not reasoning with him. Like, here is the actual language you need and like the tools you need. And I think there was a version of me that would never have allowed myself to put resources towards like asking for help with stuff like that with my kids. So I feel always really like accomplished in a way when I find a resource online or something like that. Like I found this woman, her name's Julie Ross. She has a company called Parenting Horizons. Like huge shout out to her. Whenever I'm having issues with the kids, I email her and like we do a Zoom session. And there is a version of me that would never have thought I like deserved that kind of help. And she gives me, language and things to practice with the kids that help them and help me be a better parent and help me connect to them and help them hear me. And I like can imagine myself being too ashamed or thinking that I needed to just figure it out myself. And I'm so glad that I've like gotten to a place where I know when to ask for help and then I give
Mm.
myself permission to do that. And that, I am such a grown up that instead of like getting a blowout that week, I go to see Julie Ross or whatever. But I feel like when I'm doing everything I can to get answers to help my kids have happier and more well-adjusted life, then I've done like good momming.
Yeah.
Also, on a very like easy level, spending time with my kids without a phone is
Mm.
so valuable.
Yes.
You have to just, at least for me, like I spend so much of my life go, 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 work, 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 focus, 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 write emails back. Don't let any ball drop. Like, God forbid you mess a single thing up and you're not writing enough and you're not doing this enough and just constantly going. It can be really hard to turn that off. And what I try and do with the kids is lean into the part of my brain. I mean, there's a aspect of it that's like boring and kind of mind numbing, but I just have to tell myself, turn off the like grown up part of your brain that wants to go and be productive and just like exist in this moment with them and talk in your sing-song voice and play pretend. And like it's a different practice. It's like it's its own form of meditation almost. And I always feel really whole after I do that.
Yes.
I feel
Oh.
really refreshed and whole. And it's a
Cool.
different feeling than having a great workout or having an intellectual conversation with you guys where I feel like really, refreshed in an adult way. It's a different part of my brain, but I think it's so good for us to remember that like sense of play and wonder and curiosity that comes with being a kid and having like no outside context and stuff. And it's really refreshing when I do it.
I don't know why. I mean, I do know why I'm off my Lexapro, but that made me teary-eyed.
Oh, oh my God, did it? Didn't mean to make you cry.
Yes.
Wait, how is it being off your Lexapro and how did you taper down? How did you do it?
Tapered down, been off for a while. I think I'm going back on because I'm feeling a
Really?
little too many feels. But yeah,
Yeah.
I love that reminder. And I think it's so important because I was recently talking to a friend. I was like, I hate going to the park. I hate it. And this season is so short. It's such a good reminder that like just lean in and be there and be present. Like that's all your kids want.
I
I don't know
know.
why
And
that
even
just
if it's for
really,
like 20 minutes, it
Mhm.
makes such a difference.
Yeah.
But usually, like, and then afterwards, don't you feel so like you did something so good?
Yes. And you saying it made you feel whole, that's what got me. Because I was like, that's exactly it. And I think we all need that reminder. Just go be with your kids, phone away. So thank you for that.
Yeah, okay. First of all, you're welcome. And second of all, I think that the tapering off Lexapro and deciding to go back on is really important to talk about, because what people need to know who are suffering is that you can go on it and go off of it and decide to go back on it and like use it the way that suits you and your lifestyle best. Like
Yeah.
I was so afraid to get on antidepressants because I was like, well, I'm going to be stuck on them for the rest of my life. And that's not accurate. You can
No.
do what you did and experiment with how they fit into your life best. And like,
Yes.
that's I mean, they're such a tool when you understand that you can use them that way, because I've gone through periods in my life where I didn't feel like I needed them, and then I've gone through periods where like I'd be dead if I didn't have them, you know? And you just I'm really glad you said that,
Yeah.
because you can it's a really empowered decision to make for yourself.
I agree. You hit the nail
We
on the head. We talked about it on our podcast last week. It's like,
we
Okay.
love talking
and
about it.
yeah, just Katie and I both have dabbled in the SSRI in and out as needed,
Yeah.
postpartum, during pregnancy, all the things, you know, prior to that. I mean, high school for me, like it's been forever. But yeah, it's good to talk about. It's sort of the same thing on a lesser scale, that what you did is just like talking about the things that people are afraid to talk about. Naming it, saying out loud gives people power to say it too. So
Yeah.
I mean,
Lexapro fan.
look what just
Woohoo.
happened when she said that. It instantly made you want to talk about it more and like connect over it and talk about the important, like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so just to your point.
Yes.
We want to play a fun little game with you, but right before we do, we have one last question. I feel like
Okay.
there's been a lot of stuff in the news and like headlines lately. I'm thinking about the article from The Cut.
Oh my
I,
God.
quote, I regret having children.
Oh, that article. I thought you were going to talk about the mean moms.
Oh,
The
Oh,
Ashley
that too.
Tisdale thing.
that
Okay.
too. That
We talk
too.
about that too.
The toxic mom groups.
Yeah. Okay, but yes, I saw the other article as well from the cut about the regret.
How do you feel about that article, I guess, as an overarching thing that was put into the universe by a massive outlet?
I saw a play recently by Best Wall, but it was so amazing. And one of the premise of it was this woman's mother had been a huge leader in the women's rights movement. And her mother's dead, but she goes back in time and watches her mother and these other women's form their protest group. I think it was set right before Roe versus Wade, like it's set in like 1972 or something. Anyway, it's a beautiful play, and she like goes back in time and watches her mom organize and protest for women's rights, and then she has this scene where she gets to talk to her mom in heaven, and she asks her, do you regret having me? Because when the mom got pregnant and had her, she stepped away from activism and from the women's rights movement and became like a housewife to raise her daughter. And she said, "Do you regret having me?" And the mom character says to her, "How could I ever know? But I love you. And isn't that enough?" And I thought that was like the most beautiful line, because the truth is, like, I don't regret having my children. I've learned so much from it. It's been a huge gift in my life, and it's made me a different and better person in a million ways that I don't think I could have become had I not had them.
Yeah.
But it's irreparably and irrevocably changes your life and changes the course of your life. And I can see how for people without resources, without help, without therapy, without a million things, could feel a sense of regret about that. But it's so much more complicated and nuanced than just being able to say, yes, I regret this, or no, I don't.
Yeah.
And I wonder also if whoever is saying you regret anything fully makes me question how well you feel in the moment that you're saying that, because I think like it's very hard to be glass half full about something if you're currently depressed or you're unhealed or you haven't processed everything that's happened to you. It's a lot easier to see the beauty and the magic and the positives in things once you've like totally gone through your healing process and really mastered that sort of material. So I don't know. I like wish whoever feels that they regret their kids, I wish them a lot of access and healing, because I think that there's a world where they can look back and really see even the worst parts of it and the most difficult parts of being a mom as like a huge opportunity for self-exploration and understanding your purpose. And for me, there's been so much opportunity in even the hardest moments of this where I was close to taking my life. I don't know, that got like really serious, and I feel like
Oh,
it's just the
No,
cut
I
article
think
and
you said it so eloquently in a way that I could have said it when we talked about it a couple, like when it first came out. That was really well said.
Yeah.
Okay, phew. Good.
Yeah.
That
Could
was
listen to you talk about anything,
Oh
literally.
my God. I'm being
I'm,
too serious though.
no, you're
Like,
not.
should we talk
Well,
about Ashley
no,
Tisdale?
no. Yeah.
I mean, yes,
Yes.
and Hillary Duff and you know what? What does it say about the cut that we're writing all these articles about like
Clickbait works.
motherhood?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay,
That's
but I
right.
will say one thing. I have
Mhm.
one Hillary Duff story.
Ooh, love
Ooh,
it.
Time in like, I would say 2007. I
okay.
went to a club with a group of people, and Hillary Duff, I don't remember why, was in the group. And I sat in a club with her. I think it was like Bungalow 8.
Oh my
And
God.
and we happened to be sitting next to each other in the booth. And she was like so nice and normal. I remember her telling me, I have not fact checked this. I was probably drunk and I don't even know if this is true, but I remember her telling me like she didn't have a dad who was a part of her life growing up, or like he was
Mm.
really messed up. Like I remember her like opening up to me about like her difficult family situation, and she was such a like fun, nice girl's girl. And I had not watched like the show she, like whatever show she was on as a kid. Like I knew who
Lizzie
she was.
McGuire.
Yes, like that was, I think I was too old, or I don't know. I like hadn't,
Yeah.
whatever. It wasn't, I wasn't like fangirling. I knew she was famous and I thought she was like pretty and cool, but I wasn't, like give me all your secrets. But she was such a like cool, fun person to be around. When this article came out, I was like, oh my, I misread her. Like she was a mean girl. I don't know. But the more that I've really like thought about this, Ashley Tisdale seems nuts.
Yeah.
Like she wanted this to be a revenge arc. She wanted to write
I
this
know.
story to make herself feel better and make them look bad and like blah 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 blah. I don't think it went the way she wanted it to go.
Yeah, kind of backfired, I'd say.
Kind of backfired.
Pretty hard.
So that's
I
my take on this thing, and my 45 minutes I once spent with Hillary Duff 15 years ago. That's all I got. But
I love that story. I also used to see Hillary at Les Deux back in the day.
maybe that's where it
And
was.
maybe we saw each other back at Les
Yeah.
Deux.
I would love that.
But I also have had very pleasant experiences with Hillary, and yeah, we
See,
we sort
it
of had the
wasn't
same
just me.
takeaway as you. Yeah.
She's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's not a, I can't imagine she's a mean mom.
And we loved her husband's response to the whole thing. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Yeah, he called it.
Yeah, he sure
He's
did.
He's funny.
Well, like we said, we love to hear you talk about anything, and I feel like you always have a take. So we have some hot takes for you. We want to know, they're all mother themed, and we just want to run them by you, hear what you have to
Okay.
say. What
Okay.
is a parenting hill you will absolutely die on?
Don't potty train early. Like, why do we want them to not just poop in the diaper? That like going on a plane with a kid who has to go into the bathroom and wants to touch everything and has to sit on the nasty seat. I'm like, I have paid my son in candy when he was like potty trained to be like, will you please wear a diaper on this long haul flight where we're without daddy so that I don't have to take you into the bathroom and put your cute clean butt on the toilet seat that like old men like, no,
Yeah,
you don't need to rush that process. Diapers make life
Oh
easier.
my God.
that's hilarious.
What's something that you swore you would never do as a mom that you totally do now?
Bribe my children and buy like anything they ask for if they just stop whining. Because it's like if I walk by a CVS, their little antennae go up and they like need the $1.99 piece of plastic crap. And like I really thought I was gonna be like the tough mom who was like, absolutely not, like no plastic in my house. And now I'm like, this is the cheapest thing I'll ever do to get you to leave me alone. Why would I say no?
That's so real. That's
Yeah.
so true.
Real.
It's just easier sometimes.
Yeah.
And now I'm
Uh,
thinking I should have gotten my daughter the ice cream that she asked for yesterday instead of listening to her cry for 10 minutes
Like
about.
not worth the tear. You know what?
I
You will have
know.
plenty of opportunities in her life to set boundaries and teach her how to not be a brat. Sometimes it's just easier to give in.
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
true.
That's the social clip.
Yeah. If you could give new moms one piece of brutally honest advice, what would it be?
If you loved your life before you had a kid, the transition can be gruesome because you spent so much time and energy and intentionality building your identity. And you owe it to yourself to be very honest about how you really feel about everything that's going on. None of it's permanent. And there will be a way back into the light for you, and you will end up stronger and better and happier. but you have to know what makes you happy and how you really feel before you can build back to the life that you want that includes this new wonderful little creature that you made.
That's like the cliff notes of your book. I love it.
Yeah,
It's
basically.
perfect.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
What is one small thing that is currently saving your sanity?
Well, that it's sunny out in New York City today. And
Mm.
I mean, we had some like real blizzards this winter, and one of my kids is not old enough to like sled or play in the snow, and it just gets really old here when it snows and snows and snows. There's this really cool place called Space Club. It's like a fancy, gorgeous indoor playground. But I knew when I walked in and they like knew me by name. Like,
Oh, that
it's
you
New
were
York
there.
City. No one should know you by like it was like time for winter to end. So sunshine and warm weather is currently saving my sanity.
So real.
There. Yep.
Is there a mom trend right now that you secretly roll your eyes at?
I'm trying to think of if there's even like a mom trend I can name.
Hmm.
I'm so uncool. I
No,
almost never go on Instagram.
that makes you cool that you don't know.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Woo! But like, okay, I'm trying to think of one, just have something to say, like a mom trend.
Like cutting your kids' foods into shapes.
Like a
Like what?
fancy like lunchbox. I don't know.
You know
Or
what?
like meal in the lunchbox.
Okay, here's what I'll say about that. If that brings you joy as a mom, go off. Like, if that truly is fun for you and you love like crafting and that's an extension of that, but I cannot ever feel pressure to do some mom trend stuff if it doesn't like spark joy for me. But I'm, in a way, like, I feel this a lot. I feel a sense of envy for women for whom that kind of thing comes really naturally and easily. Like, I wish I was better at being a mom. I wish I was the kind of woman who was good at making like bento lunch boxes for my kid. But I also have come to accept that that's never going to be me. And I am very okay with who I am at this stage because I can't change it. I have finally accepted that and I've let it go. And I think if anyone feels like pressure to be, making their own like homemade Lucky Charms
Oh
in a
my
ball
God.
gown for their kids, like if that sparks joy for them,
Mm.
gorge. If
Yeah.
that is born out of them feeling like they should, they got to reevaluate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well
Like, that
put.
ship has sailed. We're not doing anything just because we should anymore. We're only doing things from now on because it brings us joy and happiness because we follow our joy.
I
Take
feel
us to church. We need
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I need to stay off Instagram because my algorithm is like all these amazing moms like doing the most all the time. Should I be doing that today?
Yeah.
No,
But
no, no. You should
no.
be doing things that make you happy because happy moms have happy kids. And here's
Yeah.
the thing, you should stay off Instagram because it has been a grace in my life since I broke that addiction.
Good
You'll
for
be so
you.
much more creative.
Yeah, you're the second person this week who has told me they've been off Instagram.
It sucks your creative energy. And like,
Hmm.
we as mothers deserve to be able to indulge all of our creativity. Like, the one thing that we have is our own brains, our genius brains that built little babies and push them out. Like, we have to make them work at their peak.
Mm.
And Instagram was robbing me of that. And I didn't think it was fair. So I deleted it.
Good girl.
I need to
Ooh,
do that.
And
me
I feel a lot
too.
better.
I think if we didn't have this podcast, I would totally just delete Instagram.
I know that's the thing. You have
Yeah.
to do it like for business. Like, I have to have it, but I just can't have it on my phone. I have it on one iPad that lives at home and it's really annoying to use on an iPad. So like, I don't scroll anymore, like I go if I need to look at something, but I can't do the whole scrolling. Every single time I looked, I felt bad about myself. I can't live
Yes.
like that.
My God, same. Or I
I-
feel like the world is ending. I'm like, is
Yes.
the world ending?
It's not
Yes.
bringing
What's
me
happening?
it's not bringing goodness into my life. I already feel bad about myself all the time. I don't need to look at something that every single time I open it gives me a new reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
That's the
protect
last
your
thing we need.
peace.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is something that moms pretend to love, but we all actually hate?
Our husbands, just kidding.
Ah!
Okay.
Are we-
I mean, I think we're all pretty open that the park is a terrible place.
Oh, we
Like,
built a park in our yard because I couldn't go to the park anymore.
I mean, it's like a park in New York City is also gross.
Yeah.
Music class, baby music class.
Oh yeah. I didn't even bother doing that because I knew I didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
I'm
Like,
doing it now on the
Mhm.
weekends, and it is.
it can be really mind numbing, it can be really brutal. It's really, really repetitive. And like, as cute as it is to see your kids having fun, I felt like a lot of the time, especially when my kids were really babies, that they would just like sit on my lap and not participate. And I was like, why am I the one singing the bubble song?
Oh,
for the 5,000th time.
the wheels on the bus go round and round,
Yeah.
Yeah.
round and round and round
Yeah.
and round.
Exactly. They don't stop.
Yeah. What's the biggest lie we tell new moms?
For me, the biggest and most shocking lie was that the moment my baby came out, it would all be worth it because I would fall magically in love with him, and it would be immediate, and it would be this like maternal instincts would kick in right away. And whatever pain or fear I had felt, or whatever ambivalence I had about motherhood, however scary birth was all going to disappear and go away. And I was going to have this like hormonal fireworks show of love for this little baby. And unfortunately for me, when they pulled my baby out of my body and put him on my chest, I felt nothing. I was completely dead inside. And I know now in retrospect that a lot of that was because I had postpartum depression that had already started at that point. I had a traumatic birth and whatever. But I think it is unrealistic to expect that you immediately fall in love with every baby that you have and therefore become a natural mother right away. Sometimes it can be just like any other relationship where it takes time and cultivation to find the magical feelings. I got there eventually with my kid, but it was not immediate. And I had a lot of shame about that. And I felt like it was a sign that I was a bad mom and a bad woman and bad at being a girl. And then with my second baby, I did have that like magical heart explosion experience, and it was incredible. But I just know from my own life that like I ended up in the same place with both of them. I love both of them profoundly, and I got there the way I got there.
Yeah.
You know, but I think it's like a myth that with every baby, the minute it's born, you're just obsessed, because I wasn't me.
I wasn't either.
Right?
Yeah.
So
That's
thank
the
you for
truth.
saying
Like
that.
it's not always like that, and it doesn't have any reflection on your ability or your goodness.
Do you feel like when parents say they don't have a favorite child, that that's a lie?
Yeah, I think that's a lie. I think it's like my, I have like favorite children for different things in different ways. Like I feel it's not like I have more love for one than the other.
Right.
It's not that that's so reductive. It's like I love like hanging with my son, but I love like the way my daughter we're so like aligned that I love feeling that connection with her. It's like it's so cool. I don't know if it's because we're both girls or what, but I look into her eyes and I'm just like, holy moly, like you get me. Like I made myself a best friend with my son. I like he's such a cuddler. He's such a love. Like my daughter doesn't want to snuggle me. I feel they're my favorites for different situations, different scenarios, different energy, different vibes. But yeah, it's a total lie to just be like, no, it's all exactly the same. Like it's not like that with your friends. It's not like that with anyone in your life,
That's so true. Sarah, we love you.
I
We're
love you
so honored you came back on. You are just a dream. Guys, go and buy the paperback. If you haven't read it yet, you got to read it. If you have read it, go read it again. And we're all going to be watching the show. I cannot freaking wait. Sarah
I can't
Pigeon.
wait.
Do you hear
Woohoo!
this?
Yeah, right?
Sarah Pigeon. I know.
She would be so good. Sarah, thank you.
Thank you
so
so
much.
much.
You're an
I'll see
angel.
you soon.
Thanks for hanging out with us on Between Us Moms.
Don't forget to follow us for more mom content and good conversations on all the socials.
We're also on Substack and have a newsletter filled with tips, tea, meal ideas, and mom stuff you won't want to miss.
And we've got a secret Facebook group to connect and talk even more.
Go find us.
At Arizona State University, we've made online education better, smarter, and more personalized so you can go further in your aspiring field.
I decided to pursue medicine once I realized that ASU did have the online program for biological sciences. You're still required to learn the same curriculum. You're still being tested on the same content that anyone would be tested on in person. The comprehensiveness of the program prepared me so well for medical school.
Explore over 350 plus programs at asuonline.asu.edu.